About that.
It's one thing to be angry about losing your father due to illness, mortality, but it's a whole other thing. It takes it to another level when that father is present somewhere else, but not in the life of that child.
I wish I could get him for 5 minutes in the room so I could express to him exactly how angry I am about what he did to me.
Their egos can't deal with the fact that they've been abandoned.
Because I didn't deserve that.
It's when we do not deal with the unresolved pain, wounds, scars, and trauma of our childhoods that it's going to come out in an unhealthy way.
All of us express anger and experience anger, but let's face it, men tend to act on their anger faster than women do. It's just a fact.
Daddy out! What's up? Will, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle. So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold. You understand?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just for a couple of weeks.
I understand.
Yeah. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details, okay?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too, Lou.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
You know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the Slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. You know, if there was something that I
Hey, you know what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, you know, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil?
You did.
Got through my first day without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. The with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
You know, if you look around our country, you know, today, particularly with low-income black men and boys, and even if I look through the paradigm of my own lens, you know, growing up, you know, without a father, you know, I met my father when he was 23, when I was 23 years old. I was fresh out of the military with new wife and new baby in tow. Coming back to New York City to figure out what was I gonna do with the rest of my life. And as I was going through that process, one day my mother came to me and said, I ran into an old friend of your dad and she wants to connect you back with him. And my initial thought was, what for? Why do I need to talk to him now? I'm 23 years old, I have a wife and a daughter. Do I really need anything from him? You know, and after laboring about that, decided that, okay, you know, let's give this thing a shot. Let's see what he has to say. I think most of it was my curiosity, you know, and wanting to see whether or not, you know, he was living large, you know, whether or not he was paid.
When the father absence leaves that void, is that you know that there should be a male presence in your life. And if you don't have that, then, you know, whether it's a sibling or other people in the community, it's this ideal thing that I think that's in place with us as a community, as a nation, as a family, that there's a mother and father. And I think children even expect, like, if I have a dad, this is what dads do. You know, if you look at children's narratives of fathers, you know, children are really idealistic about what dads should be doing, how fathers are different than mothers early on. So I think children have an expectation of having a dad, and that's what dads do. You know, whether it's a superhero or whatever their dad is. And when there's not there, then there is this void, because children expect, like, I should have a mother and father.
Boys learn how to be men from watching their fathers. So they need to see the fathers and have a relationship. I love the slogan of 100 Black Men, what they see is what they'll be. So they need to see a man around, being a father, being responsible, going to work, you know, getting up, going to a job, or going to make a living legitimately. They need to see a father loving on their mother and hugging and kissing. They need to hear the kind words and the softness being spoken, and they need the discipline from a father. So,
really, for lack of a better word, I wouldn't say he hates his father, but he's more like he wants to beat him up. He's like, he has that type of anger where I just want to punch you in your face and then maybe give you a hug after that.
What would that be? I wouldn't say nothing. Smack out of him. So forward with you. There's no words, no nothing. I'm not saying hello, hi, dad, nothing. Smacking you. This is personal.
One of the interesting facts that I paid close attention to is that men will go into a home where the woman has children by another man. They'll go into her home, marry her, live with her, whatever, and they'll be more of a father to her children than they are to their biological children. Now that's a fact that I am trying to figure out. Why would you do that? You know she has children. You don't have a relationship with your children. You're not spending time with your children. But you're going to marry and take up with this woman that has children, and you spend a lot of time with them, and you become a good father to them. And you neglect your kids over here. Now that phenomenon concerns me.
It really hurts to see that, you know, he spends more time with his other children more than me, because I am also one of his sons.
There's been times where he has reached out to his dad recently, and it's been like, now I'm shot down, but you don't know me. But now I'm reaching out to you, giving you a chance to get to know me, and you don't even take that opportunity. And I feel that, like, I don't get a chance to reach out to my dad because he's dead. And even when he reaches out to him, it's like nothing. So I feel like we're in the same boat.
The anger that a young man feels at the absence of his father is real. It's not a perception at all. And it's really, in the spiritual paradigm of healing, we come from love, and when we don't get the love we think we deserve, we become angry. And angry because the ego drives us, but right beneath the anger is the hurt. But the hurt is what makes us vulnerable, so rather than go there and feel that, we stay stuck in the anger. But if we could just go through the hurt, we'd fall back into love. So very often the young men, the fatherless sons, won't give themselves permission to acknowledge, to feel, to experience, to sit in the hurt. When the truth is they need to do that.
But because of the fear of being vulnerable or the fear of looking weak or just not having the language or the skills to process the emotion, they stay stuck in the anger. And that anger just begins to expand.
A couple of days ago, a friend described to me the two types of memory. And he said that the first memory is a memory to which if someone asks you, where were you last week at 3 o'clock? What happens is you go into your brain and you scan through all the things that you've ever experienced in your life and you look for the pieces that happened a week ago on Wednesday. And then you recall it and then you answer the question. But then there's another kind of memory, and that's the memory that takes place from experiences that create habits. And so that is the angry memory of habit forming that we create when we continually remind ourselves that we don't have a man in our lives to help us move through and be the kind of man that we want to be. And because we play that tape over and over and over and over and over again, a lot of times when we respond to not having a father in our life, it's not because we recall that he's not in our life, it's because we've played that scenario over and over and over again.
I motivate him, I tell him that I love him, that he could do all things through Christ who strengthened him. I tell him that he got the courage of a king. Sometimes we bump our heads, but we get up and we shake it off and we keep it moving. I motivate him sometimes I just scream in his ear, boy, you my grandson, boy, you got it going on, what?
If we're going to create healthy children, if we're going to create healthy relationships, if we're going to create healthy communities, we have got to deal with, understand, wrestle, combat, and find solutions for the void that particularly boys, girls too, but particularly boys, have as a result of not having their fathers in their lives. And so for me, in the line of work that I do in looking at family development and family constructs, it's important for me to understand that we've done the body of work that addresses the issues for the most part that women are dealing with. But we have not taken enough time to deal with the ills that are affecting our boys as a result of not having fathers in their lives. And for me, it's probably one of the most important issues that we have to tackle today.
As kids, we looked up to our parents like giants. We were supposed to stand on the giant's shoulder to see further and get closer to the source. Now, young children pay for old parents' mistakes. All the signs point to danger, emotional anger, miseducation, miscommunication, then turns to pointing fingers. The blame game. Parents blame the younger generation, forgetting that they raised it, while the child blames the parent instead of taking responsibility for what they want their life to be. The parent says, "Why can't you do good and pay attention?" While the child says, "Why can't you close your mouth and listen?"